All right, so you're dreaming of building a getaway in the Tri-Cities of Tennessee. You've got this amazing choice in front of you. Do you want to be right on the water or perched high up on a mountain ridge? Let's get right into it because believe me, this decision is about a whole lot more than just a pretty picture.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Are you picturing a social life out on the boat, or are you dreaming of a quiet escape high above it all? We're going to go way beyond the postcard images and get down to the nitty-gritty, the real costs, the hidden challenges, and of course, the rewards, so you can make a choice you feel great about.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with that Tennessee dream, and then we'll get real about the lifestyle. After that, we'll dig into the practical side of building, lay it all out in a simple scorecard, and then wrap up with a checklist to help you make that final call.
Okay, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Picking your perfect spot isn't just about what you see out the window. Nope. It's a huge decision with very different financial and practical consequences that you absolutely need to understand before you even think about signing on the dotted line.
This is probably the most important part, and it's where you've got to be really honest with yourself. What kind of life do you actually want to live? I mean, day in and day out, because the vibe of a lake house and a mountain house are worlds apart.
And wow, you can really see the difference here. Lake life, it's buzzing with energy. You've got boating, swimming, and lively communities, especially in the summer. But all that fun means you're probably going to have less privacy. Now, the flip side, the mountains, that's your escape pod. You get total privacy and you're right there with nature. But you have to be okay with the potential for feeling a little isolated.
All right, you've pictured the lifestyle. Now let's talk about the reality of actually breaking ground. We're going to start with what it takes to build right by the water, which, you'll see, has its own unique set of rules. So the good news about a lakefront lot is they're often flatter and easier to get to, which can definitely save you some money. And the resale value? Fantastic. The challenge is, though, you've got to deal with a high water table, basically keeping your foundation dry. You've got to stop the shoreline from washing away, and you need materials that won't mind the humidity. But the biggest factor of all? Well, it isn't a thing. It's an agency.
And here it is, the Tennessee Valley Authority, or TVA. You need to get to know these three letters. Let me be super clear. You can't do anything near the water. I'm talking not even clearing a few trees, let alone building a dock, without their permission. Navigating their rules is a non-negotiable part of the process. They're the gatekeepers, period.
Okay, let's leave the lake and head up into the mountains. Up here, the biggest make or break factor is something you can't even see. It's a mystery hiding right under your feet, and it's the one thing that can absolutely blow up your budget if you're not ready for it. The question is,
Yep, what's hiding under that topsoil? Hitting a massive slab of rock when you start digging for your foundation? That is the ultimate wild card. If that happens, you're suddenly talking about bringing in heavy-duty equipment, maybe even blasting, and that can add huge, unexpected costs to your build.
And listen, it's not just about the rock. People always underestimate the cost of creating a safe, usable driveway on a steep hill. It's a huge expense. Same goes for getting utilities like water and power up that slope. It all adds up, which means a mountain build requires a very healthy contingency fund that's your just-in-case money, because you could easily see costs jump unexpectedly.
Okay, that was a lot to take in, I know. So let's make this super simple. We're going to put the lakefront and the mountain view side by side and score them on the things that really matter.
So when you start looking at the price tags, the first thing you'll probably notice is that a prime piece of lakefront property often costs more per acre than a similar plot up on a mountain.
But, and you really need to hear this, that's just the sticker price for the land itself. When you factor in all the work to get the site ready to build on, the mountain almost always ends up being the more expensive project overall. It's all that prep work we just talked about.
All right, here's the whole shebang, side by side. Land cost, the lake is usually higher. But site prep costs, the mountain wins the more expensive award, hands down. Privacy, no contest. The mountain is the clear winner. Accessibility, especially in the winter, the lake is way easier. Maintenance is kind of a wash. You're either fixing a dock or paving a driveway. And what about resale value? They're both strong, but a lake house typically appeals to a broader audience.
So at the end of the day, there is no single right answer. The perfect spot is the one that's a perfect match for your budget, your lifestyle, and what you're dreaming of. So let's arm you with the final questions you need to ask yourself.
Okay, time for a little gut check. Be honest with yourself. How much upkeep are you really prepared for? How important is it that you can get in and out easily in the winter? Are you looking for social activity or total privacy?
Does your budget have a real safety net, especially for a mountain build? And that leads us to the single most important step you can take.
And this is it, the #1 golden rule of this whole process. Before you fall in love with a piece of property, get an experienced local builder to walk it with you. They have the expert eye to spot that hidden budget-busting problem before you've signed any paperwork. It's absolutely crucial.
Because look, this isn't just about building a house with a nice view. This is about the life you're creating. It's your getaway, your investment. It's your future. So now that you have the real story behind the pretty pictures, the only question left is, which one is it going to be?